I want to dive into your first album with the band as a full-time member and contributor. So in 2015, Future Nostalgia, there's 4 singles: Downtown, I'm Gonna Be Myself, Bad Lieutenant, and Back Down. What thoughts, memories, emotions come to you when you think back to that album that for you as a full-time musician now kickstarted this adventure you've been on since then with the band?
So I was very excited to make that record. It was my first time going into the studio with Sheepdogs as a full-time contributing member and not just playing trombone. So that was very exciting to me. I just remember being brimming with ideas. I had so many things that I wanted to contribute, probably in an overexcited little brother kind of way. Because I remember a lot of the time you would just sort of be like, "We'll get there. Calm down. Like, we have a method here, you know." So I was like, "What about this? We can do this. We do. Oh my God, we can try that too." Like, I just very excitable. We went up to Stony Lake and we set up a studio in a barn, and we worked for a month. So it was great. We were kind of secluded. We were very, very committed to just making the best album that we could. We were working with Matt Ross Spang out of Memphis, who's a great engineer who traveled with us and helped us make that record.
And you guys produced it yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah. Ewan was very hands-on with dictating the kind of sounds that he wants to get, and it's great because he's got a really strong vision of what he wants the band to sound like, and especially for that record too. It's the poster for it back there, nostalgia. It was great. I mean, we would get up, cook breakfast, jump in the lake each morning, and then just spend all day chipping away, working on these songs. It's almost, there's no better life, if you ask me, to just sort of be, secluded with your buds working on music. It's kind of like
Living
how
the
I,
dream.
yeah, I know, spend my days. So that was amazing for me. I'm trying to remember, like, we were working with Rusty Mattis at the time, was the guitarist who worked with us on that record, who was a great contributor, played a lot of great slide on that album, which was good. I remember playing some pretty good weird keyboard solos. We do which is actually it's a method that Ewan and I have developed a lot over the years. He'll get a weird keyboard and put it on a weird sound, and then just tell me to play it because I'm good at. I've got kind of better keyboard technique than he does, but he's got a very good ear towards like sounds and tones. And it's a thing we've utilized a lot where I'll just be like playing a MIDI keyboard sometimes and he'll just like adjust the tones for me. So like I can play, the notes and the melodies, but he just gets the weird sounds out of me. So we did a lot of that with like weird synthesizers and Wurlitzers and keyboards and stuff like that. And I think Daryl and Dwight on that album has a cool like weird outro that we came up with keyboards and stuff like that. But I mean, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was just so thrilled to be working on music and finally getting a chance to get on wax with the Sheepdogs in beyond just playing trombone. So it was great. I loved it.
Is that the album? So I went and listened to the entire Sheepdogs discography, the Bros discography, your new album. Is that the album that has quite a few? The song titles are names. There's quite a few that have names. So you said
Yeah,
Daryl and
Aaron
Dwight.
Gordon, Daryl and Dwight. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Hmm.
just lots of inspiration from
Sullivan.
people.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe Ewan was just on a songwriting bent where he just loved like referencing specific people, but it was good. It was definitely a high watermark of creativity for us. Like I said, we were coming off that incredible crest of the Rolling Stone competition, and all the travel experiences and doors that have been open to us because of that. So I think Ewan was just sort of really feeling like referencing all these various people and stuff like that in his songwriting, and I don't know, we were cooking. It was great.
Yeah, you guys must have been feeling quite creative because I believe that album and a few albums had like 17 songs. I mean, you can have a full length album that's like 10 songs and that's acceptable. So you
Yeah,
guys
we had
to
a lot
like
of double
continuously
albums.
pushing the limits, you must have just had a wealth of music.
Well, and Learn and Burn had a medley on it too, and we love Abbey Road. Like the Abbey Road medley is like the best, 15 minutes in pop music, basically, if you ask me. So I think we and another record that we love that has that same kind of structure is Chicago Transit Authority, the first album by Chicago. Just this idea of these flowing medleys of music that are like crafted like pop songs, but there's four of them in a row with interludes, and they're just like these wonderful long form pieces of music. I think we got pretty infatuated by that. So next thing we know, every album that we made had to have a medal. You know?
My favorite song from that album is Bad Lieutenant. That has such a great groove to it. Is there, can you give us any insight into the writing and the recording of that song? Anything you can give the fans of that song that they don't know about?
Most of the Sheepdog songs are written by Ewan, so he's got kind of the inside of the writing process of that. I think it was named after the film Bad Lieutenant, starring Harvey Keitel, and Bad Lieutenant Port of Call, starring Nick Cage. So maybe you can watch those to try and I think they're both pretty like pretty raw movies.
Do you
But
remember the recording of that song?
yeah, it was one of the first ones that we worked on, and we were really going for a slow strutting kind of vibe, you know, real kind of like mean mugging type of tune.
Are you picturing Nicolas Cage mean mugging and strutting while you do
Yeah,
it?
exactly. In our mind's eye, we just picture Nick Cage, and that's where the song comes from. No, I think I mean it's a pretty standard like slow burning blues rock kind of tune. You know, big bendy riff from Ewan and sort of ethereal reverb laden keyboards, and then you know bass and drums are just going all out in that slow groove. So it's just yeah, it's a mean, you know, tough guy kind of song, but we do that kind of thing well, especially Ewan. He's got that big growly voice. He's good at kind of cultivating that kind of "don't fuck with me" energy when he's singing, you know. So
Got that fuck you energy.
yeah, exactly.
That's funny.